It's antiquated for me. Like I don't know, but that's me. We didn't have to decorate our wedding car before anyone knew that new bride and groom was coming. Really, it wasn't something that was. It was such a simple decision. I didn't even have to decide. Nothing was in my mind to decorate a wedding car. I don't know, but we didn't decorate the car. The car was just as fine as it was, and I'm still here, right? Hi everyone, you're most welcome back to my channel. My name is Juliana. If you don't know me, welcome back to my channel. I am so excited to have you here, and thank you so much to my new subscribers. You are most welcome to this great and happiest family. Alright, so guys, I am so much shook. I did a bridal series. Like, I've been doing bridal series on TikTok throughout the whole of last week, and there's this topic that somebody asked me about how I saved a lot of money during my wedding, and I shared just about 75 seconds long video, and within 24 hours the video had hit over 20k views. It is so much mind-blowing. It has never happened to me before, so that is why I'm excited. A lot of people kept asking so many questions, so here I am to give you all the gist. If you are coming from TikTok, hey, thank you so much. I really appreciate that you have come all the way to join this platform, so thank you. So first things first, let me set things straight here. This video is not to dismiss anyone's interest when it comes to big weddings at all. It has nothing to do with it at all. Honestly, if we had $1 million somewhere, we would have had this big and glamorous event, you get it? And so this video is kind of for would-be couples who are ready to be married and yet struggling to kind of ignore societal standards and the pressure that comes with marriage preparations and weddings and receptions. So I just do hope that at the end of this video it will inspire somebody, and hopefully you will go and have your marriage in peace. A very simple one, of course. So let's get right into it. So when we finally decided to get married, in terms of the wedding preparations, I had just completed my second degree. So for me personally, I had little savings left, and my husband also had plans for us. So obviously there was no big money anywhere, okay? And we had decided that there's no way we're going to take a loan for our wedding. There's no way we're going to take any money from anyone, and we also weren't willing to wait for some time to save up for the marriage. So it meant that whatever we had at that time is what we were going to use. We were going to stick by it. We were going to live within our means. No loan from anyone, no loan from any bank or whatsoever. So we decided to stick to it no matter what and be as simple as possible with that particular amount, okay? So basically, like every couple, we started listing the things that we'll need, the things that would go into the wedding, the things that would go into the traditional wedding. So we started listing all those things down, and it involved a lot. And when we started listing, we didn't just go into making decisions that we were going to cut this off. We just wanted to see how much each item would cost and how much we're likely to spend overall. Okay, so initially we had an amount in mind. I'm going to have it discussed at the end. We had an amount in mind, but then when we listed all the things down, everything had it. When we listed everything down, it was mind blowing. Like, it had exceeded what we had in mind, like over 10 times. You get it? Over 10 times, because I mean, we had our own plans, and I had imagined what I wanted the whole ceremony to be. He had also imagined how the whole thing is going to be. So we just kind of put our thoughts together and listed all the things we wanted to see. As we went through the things and we started looking at how we're going to remove some of them from the entire list that we had put together, I realized that the high-end items were associated with me, okay? Especially with my hair, the kind of hair that I wanted to wear, the kind of gown that I wanted to wear, the kind of shoes that I wanted to wear, and you know, the kente. And we had actually considered wedding reception as well, the cost, the decoration, like most of the things were, you know, like weddings are for the ladies, you know. So I was like, man, if I am going to have this dream come true, then it means we definitely need to borrow. We definitely need to get extra money somewhere, because obviously we didn't have that kind of amount to cater for all the things I had dreamt of. So for example, I have observed one hair vendor online. Like, she's very popular. I'm sure many of you know, especially those of you in Ghana. And the kind of hair that I wanted to wear, I like curly hair a lot. Like when it comes to work, I really love curly hairs. And then I inquired of the price, and guess what? The price was above 2,000 Ghana cedis. I was like, oh my goodness, if my hair alone is going to cost over 2,000 Ghana cedis, then and then a kind of gown I wanted a gown which had like a lot of beads, like they call it details. So the camera would just be on me, and then it will show all the details in the gown, like from the sleeves up to the waist, and then it will have something like a ball, because I'm slim, so I prefer the Cinderella gown. And that also, when I inquired about it, it was almost 4,005 for the gown. And I'm like, oh my goodness, then if I buy my wig, my dream gown, the money is almost finished. So looking at all that, we started to brainstorm how we were going to take some things out and really live within what we have, okay, and be as simple as possible. So I had to make a decision to get out of all those dreams and rather concentrate on the fact that we wanted to be together. That was what is most important, because after all, we couldn't live without each other anymore. So I had to get out of all those dreams and imaginations. I had to come out of the Disneyland and come back to Ghana, okay? And so we began to prioritize and started separation. So separation of powers. We decided to separate things, and we started listing them one by one, or rearranging them one by one. So after we had finished listing everything and prioritizing and separating the powers, when we separated everything, the things that were cut off was number one, our wedding reception. When we calculated the decoration, the venue, the food, transportation, and all other costs associated with the wedding reception, it was more than the entire wedding put together, in terms of the traditional wedding and the wedding at the church itself, the white wedding itself. So we had to cut it off to be in peace. We cut it off. And the next thing, we also had to cut off our wedding cake. So it's not as if you don't eat cakes. We do eat cakes. So the decision was, wedding cakes are mostly cut during receptions, okay? So if we're not going to have a reception, then why would we bring a cake separately to the church after the wedding? Like, it wasn't really an attractive imagination for us to have just a cake after the wedding and cut it, and then we send the cake somewhere, and then we continue taking our pictures. It wasn't something that was attractive. It was either we're going to have the reception and then have the cake somewhere, have it on program, especially organize some activity around it, and then cut it. But if we're not going to have the wedding reception, then the cake wasn't also really important as well. I know some people say the cake has a symbol, or it is significant, but for us, it wasn't relevant to us. It didn't make any sense, especially as we are not really cake fans. So we just decided to put it somewhere and then add it to the things that we had to cut off. And then one other thing, when it came to the decoration, we decided to cut off decorations for the church. Okay, so when we look at our church is already okay, it's already beautiful, and so we just needed bridal chairs. Okay, so we decided not to have any sort of decoration at all at the church. The only decoration we had was for our traditional wedding. So if that decoration was going to be done, then there was no need to have another decoration in the church, because whatever we wanted to feel and see, we would have seen it at the traditional wedding. So we had it done at the traditional wedding venue, and we left out decoration for the church. And when it comes to bridal chairs, we really went in for the if I tell you the cost of the chairs we hired, you wouldn't believe it, guys, but that is the truth. We hired the ones that you as a guest would sit on when you go for somebody's reception. That is the kind of chairs we hired. I remember when I started making the inquiries, the chairs, the amount for the rental was, I think, 500 Ghana cedis for each chair. I mean, the kind of chair that I wanted us to sit on. Guys are mostly not into these kind of stuff. The ladies mostly decided. I mean, they leave it to us. We are their babies. They leave it to us to decide. So when my husband left it for me to decide, the ones that I really wanted us to sit on, it was 500 cedis per day for one, not for the two of us, for one. So myself 500 and then my husband 500. And I was like, I could get a now was 1,000 Ghana cedis for just about 2 hours. So I looked at the types of chairs the lady had, and I realized that, I mean, the normal ones guests would sit on is equally beautiful. The one that looks like diamond, okay, it really shines and it is so beautiful. And we went in for that, and guess that one, it was 4 Ghana cedis. It was 4 Ghana cedis per chair, so 2 of us 8 Ghana cedis. I'm like, in Tibet, me ask now we say so that we're going to go in for like 1,000 Ghana cedis. If you have the money, that is okay. Like I said in the beginning, but that is us. We're living within our means, where we wanted to have what we had and then live within it. So if you want to go for that, that is you, please. And then the almighty bridal train. A lot of my friends had told me that, Julie, when you're getting married, you want to be on your bridal train. I'm like, of course now. But on a second thought, I really wanted to. I wanted to have like my girls following me, giving me fans, you know. But you know the cost that comes with it. I really didn't want to put pressure on anyone, because when I decided to have the bridal train, my intention was to have the cost covered, at least to a certain extent. If not for anything at all, the dress they will wear and their hair, okay, and then probably they'll take care of makeup, or either I take care of makeup and then they'll take care of their hair, but then the dress and maybe their shoes were going to be on me. That was my intention. But then when we got to a point where we had to cut it off, we still really wanted to bring people on board. But then on a second thought, I didn't know the financial position of some people or my friends. So, and I also didn't want to burden anyone, you know. Most of the times, you know, like your good friends would not be able to tell you I am not in a good position, because they will really want to support you. They do their best, and some of them end up borrowing. And I didn't want any of my friends to borrow just to come to my wedding. If me, the bride, I haven't borrowed any money for my wedding. So I decided to put that aside as well, and then just have my sister to be my bridesmaid. And my husband also forgot about the people that he wanted to have them on board as groomsmen, and he also just went in for just one of his friends. And then with the wig wahala, I know how to sew my wig. I have been sewing my wig. Sometimes when I want to pamper myself, I buy. I've been braiding my own hair for some time now, at least for 8 years now. So why won't I go to the market and get me some bundles and put them together? I thought to myself. So I just hit to Makola. I bought my bundles. I came back home, and then I bought a closure, the one with the closure. I came back home, put it together, and then I sew it. And it was nice. I had it somewhere. I think I sewed my bridal hair, I think 1 month or 2 months before the main ceremony. So I also bought some items, and I did my own bridal fan. I know how to do DIYs. If you have been on this channel for a while, you know I've been doing DIYs. So I mean, why can't I try bridal fan? I looked up some videos and pictures, and some of them inspired me, and I went creative about how I wanted my own and blended it with my traditional wear. So I also did my own bridal fan. And then with the makeup, I was really thinking about it. I thought about it. I said, hey, can I do my own makeup? Because I had just been practicing makeup at that time, I had just been practicing makeup for a little over a year. Okay, it wasn't as dope as these days. I mean, I have improved more than the time I was about to have my wedding. So I was really scared to be doing it myself. So I actually contacted some makeup artists, and for each event, the makeup cost was going to be around 2,500 for each event. Okay, with the kind of makeup artist that I contacted. One thing is, for us, my parents are not in Accra, so we had to do the traditional wedding in Kumasi. So the event was 1 week apart. We did a traditional wedding, and then after a week, we did a white wedding in Accra. So there was no way the makeup artist was going to really, like, it wasn't possible for her to be really flexible. If the whole ceremony was going to be in 1 day, then it would have been manageable. Maybe it would have just changed my eyeshadow. But because it was 2 separate events, she would have to come to do it in Kumasi and then in Accra as well. And looking at the cost, almost 5,000 Ghana, about 5,000 Ghana cedis just for my makeup for the 2 events. So I started practicing bridal makeups in my room at night when I close from work. I just sit down, mix colors, especially with my eyeshadow. and I started practicing the makeup. It was getting better day by day until I decided to have it done by myself. When I realized that it was popping, I decided to have it done by myself because I knew that when we hire a very good photographer, they'll be able to edit my wedding pictures so that even if my makeup is not that dope, it will still come out nice. So that was our decision, and we also cut off the makeup artist as well. When it came to the shoes aspect, I had like two very good friends. Oh my goodness, should I mention their names? If I had yours, say Flora and Tinabaka. Oh my goodness, you guys, I love you so much. They have been so good and amazing, like such incredible friends. Guys, if you have the support system, you shall never know sorrows in your life. Some friends are really like sisters, so I really want to acknowledge them. So that's the correction I want to make on the video I posted on TikTok. The shoes, I went with these two friends to purchase my shoes at Makola, but then I did go with my husband to purchase other things in his shoes and then his suit. Okay, so that's the correction I want to make. I really want to acknowledge my friends because they are the ones I went to get my bridal shoes, both for my wedding and then my traditional wedding. And then I went with my husband to get his shoes and his suit, same as Makola and other items for our ceremony. So thank you so much, Tina and Flora. I love you. I love you guys. So the food, the most important aspect of every event, or let me say almost every event, okay? With a traditional wedding, I was like, oh, my mom has a store in Kumasi. I mean, she's a dickness, okay? So she has a lot of friends. She has a lot of people who would support her when it comes to the cooking. So we had planned to even use the venue that we're going to have the ceremony. We had planned to use their kitchen to do the cooking. And when we did the calculations, we realized that, you know, my mother, even though she would have been able to, with her friends, she's not a food vendor. So obviously she doesn't have these big utensils to cook for majority of people. She doesn't have big cylinders. She doesn't have she does the big items which is needed for cooking food for people. She doesn't have them. So it means that she would have rented all those items, and then also getting the food items, like getting the foodstuffs, going to the market and buying all sorts of ingredients. It was going to be hell of work, and we didn't want her to go through, like I didn't want her to go through that, and the cost was actually more expensive. So we actually called one food vendor just around the venue where we had the engagement, and when you compare the price, the difference was really huge. So we had to contract someone as well. And then for the food for the wedding, we really had to be strategic about it because our church is more than 1,000 people. When we normally have weddings, people that come are more than 400 people. And we thought to ourselves, can we serve all 400 people? Well, our budget, we wanted to, but our budget wasn't going to allow us to serve 400 people. So we had to be strategic about it. So what we did was we listed all the people who are going to be really playing major roles. I am in the choir. My husband is also in the media team. So we had to prioritize according to the people who would play major roles in the church. So the choir would sing for us. I mean, the choir does almost everything at weddings. So they were going to be taken care of. The media was going to be taken care of. The church leaders were also going to be taken care of. And then the people who were put on my coordination team had to be taken care of. The drivers had to be taken care of. So we listed them and we literally wrote their names. We literally wrote their names and then counted. So when we counted and we realized that the numbers were okay and we could afford it, then we took care of that. And we had our friends come in to support. Oh my goodness, Flora and Tina again. They were so supportive. So one thing is, you can't do all these things alone. Okay, you need very good support system to back you up, to be your backbone when you are not when you can't be there yourself. You know, on that day you are so busy, you are just thinking in your head how everything is going to turn out, whether things are really going well. But if you have a very good support system, they are going to make sure that everything is on point. They made sure that all the people that we had listed had food to eat, they were served well, Our visitors were welcomed well, and everything was on point. Okay, so shout out to Tina and Florida. I love you guys. Allow me to acknowledge you because you have been such a great support system, and including everyone who was so much supportive on that day. Now, before I come to the main budget and its amount, since I already started thanking people, let me just continue. I may not be able to mention all the names, but I just really wanted to acknowledge these two friends of mine, and then my sister and my husband and everyone, my family. You know, when I shared the video on TikTok, somebody was like, oh, it may not be the same for every family. I totally understand, of course. What we went through would never or may not be the same for every family. Every family is different. But for us, I am so grateful to both of our families, my husband's family and my family. They were so much supportive. They were so understanding, you know. I mean, we had our own misunderstanding. At the end of the day, a misunderstanding would come in one way or the other. But communication is the most important. When you communicate your intentions rightly, when you communicate what you really want to do. I made my mother understand that this is what we want to do. I made my father understand that this is our budget. We don't have huge budgets for this. So they should calm down. I mean, I'm the eldest daughter, so they should calm down. It's not as if they are selling me. We are always going to be there. And one day when we are going to have our marriage ceremony, they will be the ones to come and cheer us up once again. And we're going to have it big. Okay. So they should just calm down for this one. I made them understand. It was communication. We had our own misunderstanding in one way or the other. But I had to communicate it to them for them to understand. And my husband's family was also very, very much supporting. So as much as it differs for every family, I'm sure that when you make your parents understand what you both want, and the fact that the marriage is not for them, it is for you, and whatever happens after the marriage, they do not want you to come back to them begging or borrowing for money whilst after your wedding. I mean, it is not good. It doesn't give a good picture. I mean, save yourself some, should I say, respect, or maybe sanity or dignity, or your reputation. Okay, save yourself some of them. Don't go back to your, for me, I don't really find it pleasant to be going back to your family or your parents for money after your wedding. So I made them understand that mom and dad, mama and dada, or like locally, mama and dad, I don't want to come back to you guys for money after our marriage. So allow us to have what we want to do and live within what we have. So, and they were very, very understanding. So I believe that it all boils down to communication. And if they want you to have a big wedding, I'm sure that there's some kind of support coming from them. If they are not willing to let you have it your way, then they will be in a position, like my assumption is they should be in a position to support where you want to cut off, right? It makes sense, right? Exactly. So I mean, there's no cause for alarm. I am doing it my way. If you don't want me to do it my way, support it, bring money, and let's do it. It's as simple as that. So for us, that is how it went. And I thank my family so much for being so supportive. And you know, most of the times it's on the ladies' side. So that's why I'm stressing on my family's side. So I really thank my parents for being understanding. I know they may not see this video. You know, me, my mother, she won't see this video. But in case she does, I still thank her. I've thanked her enough. I still thank her. And I thank my husband's family. Mwah, mwah, mwah. I thank them so much. And my friends, and some friends came in to support. Oh my goodness. I remember one friend dashed his car for us, and he drove us the entire day. Oh my goodness. For free, actually. For free. And oh, we didn't decorate our wedding car. I just thought, and I say chumu, and I like it's antiquated for me. Like I don't know, but that's me. We didn't have to decorate our wedding car before anyone knew that new bride and groom was coming. Really, it wasn't something that was. It was such a simple decision. I didn't even have to decide. Nothing was in my mind to decorate a wedding car. I don't know, but we didn't decorate the car. The car was just as fine as it was, and I'm still here. Right? Now the budget. The thing is, for example, if I should say we spent 20,000 or 30,000 or 10,000, and you pick it and you go and tell your partner that Charlie, Julie and her husband, they spent 10,000 or 20,000, it may not be realistic for you, because what we consider as important or necessary, you may not consider it as important or necessary. You may want to decorate your wedding car. Your wedding gown might be more expensive than mine, within the 20,000. You probably don't know how to do your hair, your own hair. You probably don't know how to do your makeup. You probably don't know how to do your bridal fun. You probably don't know how to even go to the market yourself and get items, you know. So when I say we spent 20,000 or 30,000 or 50,000, it may not be realistic to you. And it may also be too much for you, and it may also be too low for you. So that's why I don't want to mention how much we really spent on the entire thing. Does it make sense? Like, I hope it makes sense. If I bought my wedding gown at, say, 1,000, your wedding gown, for me, I ordered it online. I don't think you get a new wedding gown at 1,000 in Ghana here. I don't think so. Or maybe you go and buy, unless you want to buy the materials for your seamstress to sew for you. Maybe you may be within the 1,000. But if you're going to a store to pick up a wedding dress, yours might be over 1,000 Ghana cedis. If you get somebody to do your hair or buy a wig, it will not be as compared to how I went to the store to buy my bundles. When I bought my bundles, it wasn't up to 400 Ghana cedis, and I used it for my traditional wedding. I used an old extension hair to do my pony for my white wedding. And all these things are costly. So if you are doing it by giving it to someone to do for you, it is going to be another cost. So I don't want to hook you guys up with a definite amount of how much we spent, even though it is there. But I don't want to go there because it may not be realistic. I hope it makes sense. I know it does. You guys are intelligent, so I know it does. So that is why I don't want to mention an amount for how much we totally spent. This is all I wanted to share. This is all that went in. This is all the process. I hope I haven't skipped anything. If I've skipped anything, I'll just put it in the comment section, but hopefully not. I do hope that you enjoyed it, and I really do hope that this inspired you. If you are willing to get married, if you are ready to get married, ignore societal standards. I mean, who defined those standards anyway? Who brought up all those policies? Who said after wedding do reception? Who said cut cake? Who said this? Who said that? So many things are not really important unless you want to spoil yourself. And like I said from the beginning, if you want to spoil yourself, says please go ahead and spoil yourself. For me, one day with my marriage ceremony, I'm going to spoil myself. So if you have the means now and you and your partner wants to have all the lavish events, go ahead and do it. But if you are someone who has low budget like we had, ignore the pressure, ignore the society, what the standards are saying. Nobody cares after your wedding. Nobody will call you and say, hey, nobody will do that. So live within your means. Don't put pressure on yourself. Be yourself, and I bet you are going to have a wonderful event. And I forgot to say that for us, we were able to save so much money, and for our honeymoon we went to 3 different places to enjoy ourselves. What is more enjoyable than that, than spending the money on yourself? Okay, so I'll pause here. Let me just keep talking. Please subscribe to my channel and follow me on TikTok if you are not following me, and do enjoy your day. I love you.